Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and today we dive under the sea into a beautiful botanical underworld where you'll be building your own magical mermaid garden under the sea. Now you'll be drafting cards, crafting combos, and racing up different tracks to build your mermaid garden. Coral Castle is for 1 to 5 players. It takes 45 minutes to play, it's for ages 10 and up, and published by Lime Green Games. Now it's being crowdfunded right now, so I'm going to show you how it works, and I'll see you on the other side. This is a crowdfunding preview, so all the art and components you see here, they're not final, these are prototypes. To see the most art and components, check the Kickstarter link in the description of this video. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to select a color, and they're going to get a player board that has these nice pastel type of colors. Looks like sort of watercoloring style, looks really nice. So you'll get the color and the mat of your choice. Now each of you will get one of these clamshells, and these are going to hold your currency of pearls, which you'll be using during the game to purchase and play cards. Now these pearls are pretty cool because they look really like pearls, but they're also flat so they don't roll away, and there's different denominations of these. You'll actually start with 5 of those pearls, and each of you will start with multiple tokens of the color that you've selected. Here's just one of each of those tokens to show you what they look like individually, but you'll get a few of these to put on the board. Now here's the board. You're trying to get the most points tracked on the outside of the board. Most of these points are going to come at the end of the game, but some of them will come during the game. You're also going to have one of those tokens on each of the 3 main tracks in the game: the tentacles track, the mermaid track, and the trident track. And at the end of the game, whoever's gone furthest along these tracks are going to get a certain amount of points depending on place. First, second, third place. Then a certain amount of points depending on who's moved the furthest on those tracks. Now the game is played over 3 rounds. Each round we're going to draft cards, we're going to collect pearls, we're going to play cards, and then we're going to race up the tracks. Now here I have 9 cards showing here. You'll get some randomly from a deck. And what you're going to do, these would be secretly in your hand. You're going to select one of these to keep, and you're going to place it in your keep pile, face down, and then you're going to pass the rest of the cards to your neighbor. You can pass to the left in the odd rounds and to the right in the even round. And then you're going to get more another set of cards. You're going to keep selecting 1 card at a time. Now what do these cards do? Some of them are going to gain you pearls. Some cards gain you just pearls. This one will gain you a pearl. Then later on at the end of the round, you'll be able to go up certain tracks, like the trident track. Or it's just going to be points. Sometimes things you're going to have to pay. The gold ones, you have to pay them, and they're only able to be played once per game, essentially. So you're going to be moving up tracks, paying some pearls, sometimes gaining pearls, trying to figure out the right economy to play the right cards, and comboing cards. Like this one says, you're going to be able to play it, but you need to be able to play it at the end of the round with 2 plants. Well, there's plants, there's corals, there's merfolk, there's sea creatures, different types of cards, and certain things are going to combo together. That's the name of the game, is trying to build the best combos and having the most efficient economy. So let's say we wanted to keep this card of the 9. To play this later, I'm going to need to play it with 2 plants. So I'm going to be looking out for plants in the future ones. So I am going to take this and put it face down here, take the rest of these and pass them. So these cards have been passed. Now there's only 8 of them to choose from. So you're always picking 1 card at a time, keeping it secret, passing, and getting 1 card at a time. Now remember, you can look at your cards anytime you want secretly. Remember, I need plants. So I might be trying to focus on plants. There's 2 plants here. This one will get me a point, but it also will give me a pearl. This will give me a pearl and allow me to move up the trident track. We'll talk about those tracks in just a moment, but let's say I ended up wanting to keep this one, and again, we would pass all these. You'd continue doing this until you have gotten the 9 cards. Now, after you draft your 9 cards in the first round, simultaneously, everyone is going to collect pearls. Now, some cards are special. They have just pearls on them. Other cards in the upper left, you're going to get them. So here I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 pearls. Now, it's important that you get pearls from all of the cards you drafted. Now, in the first round, it's going to be 9 cards, but as the rounds go on, you're actually going to get more and more cards, which is going to give you more pearls, which is going to help you with building stronger combos. Now, you're going to get all those pearls, and that's done simultaneously. So between these 4 and the 5 I started with, I have 9 pearls of economy to start to be able to play cards. So after everyone's collected pearls, you're going to play cards. In the first round, you're going to have to play up to 6 of them. So up to 6 of these cards I can play. Some of the cards have pearl costs right here, like this. Now remember, I have 9 pearls that I have to use for this economy to play some of these cards. Now again, you don't have to play all 6, but you can play up to 6 of them. Now again, this part is all simultaneous as well. So you're going to decide from all the cards you drafted. In this case, in round 1, it's 9 cards, and you're playing up to 6 of them. In subsequent rounds, you're going to get more cards, you're going to play more cards. So I got to figure out which 6, up to 6, I want to play. Now again, when you spend pearls like this tells you, hey, you have to spend 2 pearls. This is a sea creature. This too, 2 pearls, it's a sea creature. Well, this one's a plant and says you have to play with 2 sea creatures. So I could not play this unless I played at least 2 sea creatures. This one is play with 2 plants. It's a coral. Well, I have a plant here, I have a plant here. If I play all these, then I can play that coral. So you're comboing cards together in order to play things, and we'll talk about what these benefits are in just a moment. So if I wanted to play all the ones we just talked about, which is pretty good, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could play up to 1 of these other cards. Do I want to play this one? Let's talk about these. The ones with the gold bars here are special cards. Most of the time, when you at the end of the round, I'll show you, you get to keep the cards that you've played. However, these gold ones are extremely powerful. So if you do use them and you play them, in this case I had to pay 4 more pearls, I could double all my coral bonuses I play this round. So because they're powerful, you'd get rid of them. But I gotta decide from these 3 cards, because these ones never get played, they're just pearl income. Now, again, tough decisions. Remember, I had 9 pearls between the 4 I got here and the 5 that I started with. I've spent 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 left. Both of these cards cost 4. So if I wanted to, I could play one of these powerful things, and I'd have 1 pearl left going into next round. Do I want to be a little bit, broke, if you will, from pearl currency? Or do I want to hold them on? Maybe these benefits aren't that powerful yet, and I want to wait and hold them for future rounds, and then know that, you know what, if I'm going to be able to double all the coral I play, then that means next round or the round after that, I'm going to be trying to draft a lot of coral to go with this. So these ones tend to be longer term planning, where you keep them and you try to essentially get things that go with those. So maybe in the first round you don't end up playing those. If I didn't, then I'd have even more pearls to use for next round. So let's say I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to hold these ones back because they're only one-time use. If you use them, I want to use them and try to build those combos for longer term planning later. Again, simultaneously now, all the players are going to, with the cards that they've decided to play, they're going to activate the abilities on them. And you'll notice that these other 3 different tracks are going to be mostly moving up. We have the tentacles, the mermaids, and the trident track. So I look at the tentacle track, and from the 6 cards that I played, I have 3 of those, 4 of those, 5 of those. So on this, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now notice, when I get here, it has 2 mermaids. That means I'm also going to go up 2 in the mermaid track. So sometimes you go up in this track, it moves you down this track. As you move down this track, it's going to move you down this track. And as you move up this track, you're going to be getting more pearls for currency. Now one cool thing is if you ever make it to the end of the track, which is 10, you'd start back over to the 0 and keep going. So if I was at 9 and I got 2, I'd go 1, 2, and I'd go back to the beginning and be on the 1 space. But you get to place a piece of your coral. This tells you that you've been to the 10 once. So you've actually got sort of 10 points on this track, if you will. This helps keep track of who's been the furthest on the track at the end of the game for those points, but it also makes it look really cool as you have lots of different coral colors there. So let's look at the mermaid track. From the 6 cards that I played, I have 1, 2, 3. Now keep in mind, this is all happening simultaneously, so everyone's moving up the tracks, starting with the top, then the middle, then the bottom. So we're on this one right here, and I'm going to go up 3 on the mermaid track. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and again, I got to go up 2 on the trident track. And we're going to look at that trident track here. We have 1. That's it, just 1 card there. So I would move here. Again, I'm going to get 2 pearls, and everyone else is doing this simultaneously. Now the last thing that you can get are basically starfishes, which are points. So in this case, I would also have gotten 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. And so here we go, we're moving up the score track like that. Now let's look at the, remember we use these 6 cards to play. Now if we had wanted to do these, we could see that if I had doubled all my coral I played, I essentially would have gotten 4 points here instead of 2. So I would have gotten a total of 6 points. Is spending these 4 pearls worth just 2 extra points and worth 1 mermaid? Well, that's something I have to decide. Is doubling all my mermaids I play. So instead of going up 3, I could have went up 6, but then I would have to choose one of these cards not to play, right? And so you're starting to break up some of the combos. In this case, it was early in the game, and they weren't great enough to make me want to spend the extra, but those are the tough decisions that you have to make. That shows you that you have short-term and long-term planning all the time. So at the end of the first round, it might look something like this. Now remember, all this is being done simultaneously, so there's 0 downtime. So now you're going to keep cards for the next round, again, done simultaneously. Round 1, you're going to keep 4 of these. So from all of these cards, you're going to get to decide to keep 4 of them. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, if you play any of these, spend the the pearls and do the ability, those go out of the game, only the ones with these gold bands. Other than that, it is, you get to keep 4 of them. So again, another thing, well, I want to keep these 2, right? Because I'm working on some longer term combos. I want to keep some of the things that go with this. Well, this is a coral that might go with this one good. Maybe I'll keep this and really start to work on corals. Maybe I want to, this is going to double the mermaids I play. So maybe these are just the 4 I keep, and the rest of these are going to get discarded. Now you're still going to get to draft 9 cards next round, but into those 9, you have these 4 cards that you're going to be able to use. And those 4 cards you kept are now face down your board. You can look at them while you're drafting through the 9 cards of the next round. So you're actually going to get more cards because you're going to have the 9 that you draft plus these 4 to decide which 7 to play. Plus you're going to have more cards, so you're going to have more pearl currency. So you're going to be able to create more and more powerful combos as the game goes on. All right, well, let's say it's the end of the 3rd round. It's time to do final scoring. You look at each of these tracks. Now, purple was at this first one twice, so that's 22. The green and blue were both there once, so this one's at 16 and this one's at 14. Now, in a 3-player game, you're only scoring 1st and 2nd place. The last place gets nothing. So this one was going to get 1st place, and they'd get 10 points, so they would go up. And green would get 2nd place, and they're going to get 7 points like that, and so on and so forth. And you go through and score the rest of this, and whoever has the most at the end is the winner. Now I'm going to show you some of the other combos and scoring types of things that you might find on some of these cards, like going up the mermaid track for each fish you play, or up on the trident track for each fish you play, or on the tentacle track for each big fish you play, because some of them are big fish, for example. Sometimes you'll score a point and even be able to play an extra card, or double 2 sea creatures that you played that turn, or collecting income again, or getting a point for each item type that you've played. So all different ways to score. Now there is a 2-player mode. It plays a little bit faster, but remember, you're getting 9 cards to draft. You're going to select on the draft as normal, but you're also going to pick one that you don't want your opponent to have, and you're going to discard it into sort of a little discard pile that you can reach easily. There's also going to be a separate deck there that you're going to take, and you're going to put in with the other cards that you did not select to pass to your opponent. So what this does is it allows you to sort of hate draft and take things away from your opponent, but it also adds a card that you don't know what it is to keep things randomized. It sort of facilitates what would happen if cards are moving around a bigger table. So that's generally how the 2-player game works. Now there's a solo mode, and how this works is you'll set up piles of 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. You're going to look at these 2 cards, select one for yourself, and you're going to give one to your solo opponent. You're going to do the same here. Each of these piles you're going to go through, now there's 3 cards. I'm going to select one for myself, I'm going to give one to the opponent, and then this one's going to get sort of shuffled up a little bit later. This one, again, there's 4 of them here. I'm going to select one, I'm going to give one to the opponent. There's going to be 2 left over. Here there's 4. I'll select one, I'll give one to my opponent. They'll put these here, and then this one again, I'm going to look at these, select one, look at these, figure out which one I want to give to my opponent, here. So now each of us have 5 cards. Now all the ones that were not selected that first draft through will end up getting put in piles of 2, 3, 3. Same thing will happen. I'll take one, I'll give one. I'll take one, give one, take one, give one, and the other 2 get discarded. And then essentially you play the game the same way, except that the solo player is going to play all of their cards, and they don't have to meet any requirements, they don't have to spend any pearls, they're just going to be able to play all the cards just as they are. And if that solo player goes to the 2 pearls on the track, they actually get 2 points instead. And you'll still play 3 rounds, and there's an easy, normal, and hard mode as well. Well, there you have Coral Castle, and as I showed in the overview, there's very little downtime since the drafting and playing is done simultaneously. Now it's easier to learn than 7 Wonders, but has more depth than Sushi Go, and therefore it can be enjoyed by gamer enthusiasts, families, casual gamers, and anyone that wants more mermaids in their life. Now, if you'd like to see the most up-to-date art and components and all the different pledge levels available, you can click the link below me in the description of this video. Now that's going to take you directly to the crowdfunding project page, and I'm sure that Lime Green Games would love your support.